Hey guys, welcome back to the stream. This is Connor from Futures Analytica, bringing you guys another live futures trading session. We're going to start the day here in trend mode, actually. So we're going to be doing that just because of this very highly converged delta along that strong price movement. Even though that was in the downward direction, we are going to be keeping our eye on it just because of that negative 113 divergence there at 813. We're keeping it in trend mode at the moment, but if we get a regression channel being formed, it's likely going to be at around this level. If we bounce off of here, we're going to try and play on this level of support right there, automatically marked by the blue RSI line. We don't have very much to work with in terms of automatically marked absorption levels, but we're going to see what we can do anyways. You can see here that we did get confirmation of that bounce. We are going to preemptively switch it into regression mode. I'm sorry, that is not a preemptive switch. That is because we had a delta divergence at 815 and a delta divergence at 813. And those are both going to be high entropy bars. Those are high entropy because even though price moved very little in the upward direction, we had a very large negative 113 delta, and price moved very little, but even though that's a small number at just 18. We can play this bounce here. If it bounces off of this zone here, that's definitely going to confirm, give us even more reason to be inside of regression mode. We just got filled into a short trade here. Almost got stopped out there, but doesn't look too good for this trade at the moment. Especially with that positive delta flowing in with that increase in price since the bar close. There we go. Ended up winning that trade at 480 and 74 to start off the day. I'd say that's a pretty strong way to start that out. This user asked, how do we go about getting the beta ML edition? So you should have received an email if you've already purchased the software to get an automatic download for that. Or if you're looking into purchasing it, it's just going to come with it. Everyone gets access to the beta. It's going to be in the downloads that you receive when you purchase. So if you didn't get the email and you've already purchased it, just shoot us an email either from the email that you purchased with or include your order number, and we'll send that over to you right away. This user asked, I know that with delta divergence, there's likely going to be a reversal or a change in price movement. If I have positive delta and negative percentage, what does negative and positive percentage interpret as? Or are they both the same thing? So I do want to clarify that the percentage thing you're seeing, that's just the change in delta from the previous bar. So you can see that we went from 232 delta down to 124 delta from 817 to 818. We had a 47% decrease in delta. That's all that means. It's just to help you visualize on the fly the level of delta change that you're getting. You're going to want to be looking at the actual numerical value if you're trying to look at what the actual delta is for the current bar with the most up-to-date information. This user asks, thank you for your videos. How do you decide when to trade? Wouldn't you want to trade during open since there's more volatility? Or should we think of the software as a guide to work with any time during the normal business hours? So to answer your question about that, yeah, actually open is one of the best times to trade this model. It's just pretty early for me. Getting up before 6 o'clock just so I can get ready to start trading, especially on stream, is a little bit cumbersome when it comes to consistency. I do often trade the open. I just don't stream it because I can just roll out of bed and in 15 minutes I can be on and ready to trade. But in terms of streaming, there is a little bit more of mental awareness that has to be done in terms of both giving commentary and just making sure that I'm doing everything correctly. But to say when you should trade your, when the best time to trade is, I'd say in areas where there is actual volume and price movement, meaning any time during normal business hours except for when people are at lunch, when you get that kind of middle of the day lull. So anything after about 9 is really going to want to, is anything for, sorry, 9 o'clock PST my time. That's when I generally stop trading. And then I can start trading again at around 11:30 my time. Yeah. There we go. Just got filled into a long trade. Very interesting there. We're now going to be considering this new range. So we're going to be removing this manually marked level there. Once again, that was just to help visualize. And now we're going to be considering these automatically marked zones, the red zone and the green zone you can see there. So when we have those enabled, we're able to, when we are able to take those into consideration, we're just going to be trading inside of this channel with regression mode. We are now up to 936 on the day. Just got filled into a long trade. That is a very textbook regression model trade. Also, just to highlight to you guys that I'm in fact on an actual account here. I'm going to move my chart trader down. And there's my execution speed. Which you can see that it's not just static. Hey Gene, if you're not able to get the red and green zones to look identical as mine, make sure that you have word for word, number for number copied what my Analytica Chart 4 Plus settings are in the description. If this is still not working for you, please reach out to me directly over email on and just send a screenshot of your Analytica Chart 4 Plus configuration, and I'll make sure that that's sorted out for you because that is important. To answer your question, Emily Kitch, do you start your session for the day with a fresh load of the settings shown in the description, or are you using a previously optimized model? So it's a little bit of both. What I put into my strategy is what's in the description, and then the strategy optimizes it from there using my previously optimized model. I got some questions about, why I'm clicking off of the screen. They're saying that I'm going to a different chart or something like that. You can see that with that gray bar at the top there, and that's absolutely not the case. I'm just looking at questions. I have them in a separate tab, and I have to click out to double click them, and so I can view the full question without having to scroll. To answer your question, Mark, about the filter values being the problem with the derived zone, not imbalances, having those settings in place and still not having a match, I will double check that after this, and I'll make sure that I'm able to set this up on a separate laptop to make sure that you guys are able to get those same derived zones, and I'll send out an update on that if I am not able to. And if I am, I'm sure I'll be able to find the problem of what's exactly happening there. And to answer your question, Beto Cars, if I'm still doing the 1 hour support calls, yes, we are. So they're going to be on our website. And I'm not totally sure what our schedule is, but we did have a lapse in those for just a few days. So we haven't done any calls since the 3rd until the 9th, but I believe that we've resumed calls today. So I'm not sure what the actual schedule is, so you'll have to double check that. Looks like there we've got a regression fill in the long direction. You can see textbook trade pulling us back inside of the range. Very obvious there, and pretty solid. You could probably caught that if you were trading manually as well. To answer your question, Alessandro, you can absolutely use the AC4 Basic for machine learning, and you don't have to purchase AC4 Plus. Also, guys, if I'm not getting to your question, after this session, I will go back and I'll contact you directly on that. There are a lot of questions here that are pretty long and detailed, and I just get a very high volume of questions here. So, but after the stream, I will go back and I'll directly email you with an answer to that question. Thank you, Denvo, for that comment saying that you love what you guys are doing. It's great you have affordable sports sessions to help us get up to speed. I appreciate that. Trying our best to help you guys as much as we can. It's been a little bit chaotic getting this machine learning to work for everyone, but we're working hard on it. And yes, pitch 3 and 3 is correct for strength and offset. We got filled almost immediately after getting into that short trade there. Thank you for that comment. Saying the settings for NQ calls for 32 range, but your chart uses 31 range. Doesn't make a difference what range chart is used. So 31 range is actually technically 32 range. The way NinjaTrader is set up is that it'll put an extra tick at the end for range bars. If we had 32 range, these bars would not end cleanly. There would be an extra tick, and because we're using tick compression, it would look a little bit funky in terms of getting clean bars that actually make sense. So 31 range is actually technically 32, but I will update the description to reflect that. You know, I totally thought that there was subheadings for polarity and AC4 plus settings. In the description, yeah, I do see there are subheadings. You can see that low side maximum volume is for AC4 plus. Yeah, I mean, I see a couple here that haven't been updated to include that, but I will check that to make sure that it's reflected. I want you guys to have kept an eye on entropy here. If we get a bar close outside of this range here, we're going to be switching it into trend. Okay, we actually got filled into a long trade here very, very quickly after I said that. And winning this long trade is going to confirm that we're staying in regression because that puts us back into the range. Oh, we actually got stopped out there. So we're going to be switching it into trend mode here. Of course, unless we close inside of the range, then we'll switch back. We just got filled long here. Very interesting for a trend mode trade. Well, almost got filled there. There we go. All right, back up to 3,300 on the day. And we have eliminated that zone there, so this has not put us into a range. Not totally sure what's going on with the chart there, but we should be good now. Just got filled long here. Keeping it in trend mode regardless of what happens. Up to 3,800 on the day. Also, guys, I have been receiving reports that for some reason, sometimes the app does not connect successfully, and we have identified the root cause of this. There was an Intel graphics update which changed the port that they used to port 5000. This was the port that our program has been using to communicate with NinjaTrader. So that's going to cause a conflict if you're on that, if you're on Intel graphics. So what we've done to counter this is that in this next update, we are going to be changing the port to one that is not used by such a common program. You can see here that we are getting a somewhat slow but steady formation back into this previous range here. Just because of the absence of any absorption levels near where we're at, we are going to be keeping it in trend just for a little bit longer to see exactly what the market's doing. I'm not sure what port exactly we're moving to. We're looking at finding one that's very, very, well, how you say, uncommon. One that's not used by pretty much any common program that's used in our customer base. And we may also allow users to change the port what it's on, but that will likely come in the future. Looks like we just got filled long here. I'm glad we did not switch into regression mode there. Always trust the entropy and the absorption levels. Hope I didn't speak too soon. To answer your question, Spinagle, saying if just purchased, would you suggest learning the system manually or just jump right into the ML beta? For simplicity's sake, I don't see any problem with using just Polarity v6 in terms of trading with the recommended settings. If you are technically inclined, it's one of those things where you know very, very quickly whether or not you want to use the ML beta. If you open it up and you've loaded the chart, it's a 5-minute process, by the way. We have an installation video on that. You should have no issues with it. But sometimes we're getting the compatibility issues, like, for example, the port 5000 issue. If you're getting that issue, you might want to just start with Polarity v6, and we offer full support on that, by the way. And if you're underwhelmed with that, we are going to be coming out with that update to that port issue very soon. Within this week, is what I mean by that. You can see here that this previous zone up there is actually still relevant. You can see that we're getting some very strong resistance at this level. Of course, I'm not certain that this is going to continue to be that way, but as we do have this strong delta and we have correlated delta, which is the most important. To answer your question, Mikey, even if you're not using the ML beta or ML feature, you can absolutely use the settings that are in the live stream description. This user is asking if a VPS is recommended for the algo or will a local machine suffice. A local machine will absolutely suffice, but if you're trying to extract as much of an edge as possible, a VPS can absolutely not hurt. Seen a lot of users have good experiences with VPSs, and I personally use a VPS, so if you can afford it, yeah, absolutely. It is not necessary, though. It's just going to increase your connection speed and your stability. You can see here this level did not hold. We got some resistance at this point. We had that somewhat large absorption block at that zone, but it looks like we've pushed through it. Kitch, if you haven't gotten any trades this entire time while sim trading along, I would highly suggest retraining the model, or there may be another issue. If you could let me know what the settings that your model has optimized to not get any trades, I'd be very curious about that. If you could submit that and tell me what the imbalance volume and the imbalance ratio are that have not caused you to get into any trades during this entire session. Moffat's asked, do you ever have a losing day? And when do you stop trading on a day if you keep getting losses? Yeah, I absolutely have losing days. I've had quite a few losing days on these past live streams. Generally, I will stop at a $2,000 daily loss. And that's regardless if I've lost all those trades in a row or if I've continuously dropped down and eventually lost that. That usually happens on days with either exceptionally high volatility or exceptionally low volatility. So I like to find the middle ground where there is just a pretty large window of average volatility. That window is pretty large in terms of the acceptable amount, but I would avoid times where there is very, very little movement or absolutely explosive movement. Trading during the COVID crash would have sure been interesting with this strategy. And that's a time where you might want to step away, especially if you're not that experienced. I've experienced a couple times where I've traded during times similar to that and ended up losing that day. So those are some times where it just doesn't work out. And then sometimes it just doesn't end up happening on a normal day. I do everything right, and you don't end up not winning those trades, and you lose that day. So sometimes that's just a part of the game. Gene says his charts are 5 seconds faster than the live stream. I believe that is just due to the fact that there is a inherent lag between what I stream and what is received on the other end. I'm actually surprised it's as low as 5 seconds, so that is nice to see. Just got filled short here. It's nice getting a few trend trades that worked out. Thank you, Kish. I'm glad there was an update for that. So to guys let you know exactly what issue was experienced there. Kitch had trained their own model, but they still had the use prepackaged model option selected, and that was causing an issue with that. To answer your question, Smosh, you're not sure if Zach is still answering emails, and do I still take emails as well? So Zach does answer emails, but it's mostly Pete. Pete has been the one who's also been doing the one-on-ones. He's great. He's done excellent. We've received a lot of great feedback about him. Zach is still, of course, on the team, and he's more on the back-end side in terms of media creation and whatnot. So, yeah. So if you're interested in what's happened with that, there's the update. And of course, I am still taking emails. If you want to ask me something, of course, maybe more specific to something that only I can answer, you can absolutely directly reach me. see there that we have reached our profit target of 51.54, over $5,000. $5,000 is our general profit target for the past few months now, and I'm happy to say that we have reached that today. Very healthy amount of regression trades and trend trades. We did not have that many trades there, so I am pretty excited about that session. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and of course, we are working on that instructional video that will be released later this week, and I appreciate you guys' patience. Thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day.